never been easier to find true love, with the internet, social media, and Tinder at our fingertips. But let's be honest, how many of us are actually paired up and living happily ever after? This is no accident. The truth is, Tinder isn't just a dating platform, but a carefully crafted system designed to keep you single and addicted. As someone who spent years analyzing the science of addiction, I couldn't help but notice the similarities between Tinder and other addictive products. So I decided to dig deeper, and what I found was pretty surprising. In this video, we're going to explore how Tinder has perfected an evil strategy over the years that exploits ancient mechanisms in your brain to keep you swiping, influences your dating choices with hidden features you don't even see, and worse, uses their algorithm to make the search for true love harder than it's ever been. But for you to truly understand this, I need to show you the connection between mobile gaming, a lawsuit, chess players, and hungry pigeons. Let's start with mobile gaming. It's 2012 and a group of college students are huddled around their computers at a hackathon. Among them is a guy named Sean Rad and his roommate, two guys who probably had no idea they were about to change the dating landscape forever. Their creation? A little app called Matchbox that helped college students find love. Yep, that's right. Tinder wasn't always Tinder. Now, fast forward today and Tinder has grown into a global phenomenon. It's used in 190 countries and is available in 45 languages. Now, you might think, surely Tinder had some groundbreaking technology that became so popular. Well, not exactly. In fact, the app was pretty basic at first. It crashed frequency and didn't have any fancy matching algorithms. So, what made it take off? One little thing. From day one, Tinder was built on a foundation of gamification. You know that addictive swipe feature we can't seem to resist? It was there from the start. Left for no, right for yes. Dating suddenly became as simple and entertaining as playing a mobile game. And it caught on like wildfire. But this simple swipe mechanism also became one of the most harmful inventions of the 21st century. And that might seem radical, but hear me out. Statistics show that over half of adults under 30 are using these dating apps. This might seem harmless, but the problem is while Tinder claims to help you find love, its business model thrives on keeping you single and swiping. It's a digital slot machine, giving you just enough occasional matches to keep you hooked, but not enough to actually leave the app. And while Tinder may have made finding dates easier, it's left many wondering, at what cost? For some, a cost too high to pay. On Valentine's Day of 2024, 6 dating app users actually filed a lawsuit against Tinder and other match group apps. They claim these apps use recognized dopamine manipulating product features to turn users like you into gamblers locked in a search for psychological rewards. In a nutshell, Tinder hacks your brain to keep you addicted to it. One of the accusers, an online dating expert, even compared dating apps to big tobacco, suggesting smartphones are just as addictive as cigarettes. It's a pretty damning accusation, but it isn't far from the truth. Let me show you. Imagine a guy named Brian. He's 30 years old, decent looking, and works as a civil engineer. One day, feeling a bit lonely, he decided to give Tinder a shot. Now, at first, it's kind of exciting. The thrill of swiping and the rush when he gets a match. But it feels like a whole world of possibilities has opened up. But as days turn to weeks, something has changed. The matches slow down. Brian starts obsessively checking his phone, tweaking his profile, and trying to figure out what he's doing wrong. He's spending hours each day swiping and messaging, hoping for that dopamine hit of a new match. But as that match rate keeps declining, his self-esteem takes a nosedive. He starts to feel worthless, wondering why no one seems to be interested. The app that was supposed to help him find connection now makes him feel more alone than ever. Now, this scenario might sound extreme, but it's playing out for countless people just like you every single day. And young men have it worse than anyone else. A study recently showed that 63% of men under 30 describe themselves as single, compared with 34% of women in the same age group. More alarming though is half of these single men state they were voluntarily single. meaning they were not pursuing casual or committed relationships. And this makes us wonder, why are men giving up relationships altogether? And what is Tinder's role in this terrible scenario? Well, here's the deal. You might think you're in control when you're on Tinder, choosing from a buffet of potential matches, but Tinder's algorithm is actually working against you. Let's rewind a bit. When Tinder first launched, they used something called the ELO rating system. Now, if that sounds familiar, it's because it was originally used to rank chess players. But instead of chess skills, Tinder was ranking your attractiveness. Yeah, you heard that right. The more right swipes you get, especially from desirable users, the higher your score. Now, Tinder claims they've moved away from the system, but don't be fooled. The current algorithm still heavily prioritizes appearance and location. It's like a digital beauty pageant where your profile's visibility depends on how hot the app thinks you are. And this is a nightmare for the average user. If you're not getting many swipes or you're competing against really attractive people in your area, your profile might as well be invisible. It's like trying to be heard in a room full of people shouting. Good luck with that. But here's the worst part. Tinder's business model is based on taking advantage of men's innate psychological and emotional vulnerabilities. Generally speaking, men have a much harder time getting matches compared to women. In another study, 64% of men say they feel insecure because of the lack of messages they receive on dating apps. It can seriously mess with your self-esteem. Imagine putting yourself out there, swiping through hundreds of girls, only to be met with crickets. It's no wonder so many guys feel discouraged and either quit the app or just even dating altogether. But the problems don't stop there, even for the people who do get a lot of matches. Because Tinder's design is working against your search for true love. Just think about it. When you're swiping, what are you basing your decisions on? A couple of photos and maybe a witty bio if you're feeling generous? It's all about looks, with personality taking a backseat. This can lead to extremely uncomfortable scenarios. I remember the early days of Tinder when the app first came out. I was in Colorado and I went on a few first dates with girls from Tinder. The difference between the view I had of them through their pictures and profiles compared to the chemistry we had in person was significant. With one girl, we had great chemistry through text, but when we met for coffee, it just wasn't there. The problem is that on Tinder, you're evaluating women based on physical appearance rather than the whole picture, leading to a distorted perspective of chemistry. As a result, we're developing unrealistic expectations of people we don't really know and constantly facing disappointment. This makes you start seeing people not just as objects instead of people, but it also destroys your chance of finding someone you really connect with. Besides, with an endless supply of potential matches at your fingertips, it's easy to fall into a mindset where you're always looking for the next best thing. Why bother investing in one connection when someone even better is just a swipe away? It's like we're shopping for partners the same way we shop for shoes online, always looking for a better deal. But the truth is, we'll never find a better deal because Tinder is a digital hamster wheel. It keeps giving us enough hope to keep running, but never actually getting anywhere. And hope is exactly how Tinder tricks you into staying when you're ready to stop. Once you think everything is lost, Tinder offers you a new option, a new hope that can take you out of that deep ocean of loneliness. And they're making billions out of it. Tinder's revenue skyrocketed from $47 million in 2015 to a staggering $1.7 billion in 2021. How? That's all due to hope. Tinder Plus and Tinder Gold, the premium features that promise to boost your chances of finding a match. For just $25 a month, you can get perks like unlimited swipes and see who's already liked you. It sounds like the lifeboat you were waiting for. But here's the kicker. Sure, the premium features might give you a temporary boost, but they don't address the fundamental issue with the app. You're still stuck in the same superficial swipe-based system and algorithm that only helps those with good looks. It's like putting a fresh coat of paint on a sinking ship. It might look better, but you're still going down. And it's all part of the trap. Tinder has created a system where the more frustrated you get, the more likely you are to pay for these premium features. It's a digital slot machine. You keep pulling the lever hoping for a jackpot that rarely comes. But here's the really messed up part. Even as users get frustrated with this model, many keep coming back. It's a testament to just how addictive these apps can be. Because while deep down we all know Tinder doesn't have our best interests at heart, almost no one understands the psychological tricks that keep Tinder users coming back for more, even after they become frustrated. And you need to understand these tricks to stand the chance of taking your power back and finally changing your love life for the better. So here it goes. Tinder's addictive effect is all about ancient mechanisms in your brain. It's about your brain's reward system. It all comes back to dopamine, that feel-good chemical your brain releases when you experience pleasure or anticipation. Now, Tinder has found a way to hijack this system, but the worst part is that Tinder's co-founder, Jonathan Baidet, has admitted Tinder's mechanism to keep you swiping is based on a famous experiment with pigeons. Now, in this experiment, American psychologist B.F. Skinner created a system where, at first, every pigeon pecked at a target. They'd get food on a tray, but for a later round, the delivery of food was random. Now, strangely, the pigeons began pecking even more in the hopes of earning extra food. So the result? Pigeons turned into gamblers, always coming back for more. It's the same thing with Tinder and its infinite swipe feature. You keep swiping, always chasing the rush of a match. But when you swipe, you get dopamine. This reinforces the behavior and leads to habit formation. But it's not just about swiping, because Tinder also uses something called variable rewards. Now, this comes from game design theory. To make a product as engaging or addictive as possible, designers give out rewards. But the problem is, if these rewards are too predictable, players get bored. So to counter that, the rewards need to be unpredictable and variable. Tinder does this by not showing you all the girls who swiped right on you immediately. Instead, they dish them out with variability. You have to swipe through a lot of girls who aren't interested in you to eventually find the ones who are. Because this can happen at any moment, you end up thinking, I just have to keep swiping and maybe I'll find one. When you do find one, it's really exciting. They use animations and sound effects to make a confetti-like experience. But here's where it gets really messed up. This constant cycle of anticipation and reward can lead to some serious emotional ups and downs. This leads to feelings of anxiety and resentment, ultimately putting you in a more emotional state and increasing your attachment to the app. You get a match, you feel great, but if you don't hear back from someone, you feel rejected. It's an emotional roller coaster that can leave you feeling drained. And the worst part is you're actually giving away your mental health, your time, your happiness, not in exchange for love, but in exchange for more problems. Let me ask you this. How many hours have you spent swiping? How often do you find yourself reaching for your phone to check Tinder, even when you're supposed to be doing something else? You're losing time. But it's not just the time in the app, it's the time spent worrying about Tinder and distracting yourself from other aspects of your life. But losing time is not the only problem. Research suggests that this design can lead to feelings of exhaustion and alienation. So you're spending all this time and emotional energy on the app, but the probability of forming meaningful connections is low. Besides, according to Marlon Familton, a relationship counselor, the swipeability of people can burn through dopamine, creating addictive behavior that has to do little with building meaningful relationships. It's like you're training your brain to treat people as disposable options rather than potential partners. So next time you feel the urge to open Tinder, ask yourself, am I looking for connection or am I just chasing that dopamine hit? Are these swipes bringing me closer to find love, or are they just keeping me trapped in Tinder's addictive cycle? And if you find the answers to these questions are depressing, don't worry, you can change. And here's how you can do it. The truth is that the main way to stop being negatively affected by Tinder is simply just to delete it. You might think that Tinder is the only way for you to find someone, but you need to understand that's not true. So just hear me out. This statement might seem radical in today's world, but you're better off meeting people offline. I know, it sounds crazy, but there's something special about real-life interactions that no app can replicate. Think about it. When you meet someone in person, you're not just seeing a carefully curated profile. You're experiencing their whole vibe, their body language, their laugh, the way they interact with others. It's a much richer experience than just swiping through photos. Yes, sometimes it's physical appearance that calls out our attention at first, but often it's a funny moment, natural chemistry, or just a vibe that leads to a connection. There are two posts I found on X recently that caught my attention. First was by Ryan, who said, "The woman I married poured a whiskey down my back when we first met. And 12 years and 3 kids later, I couldn't be happier." And then Sal shared, "The one that starts with a laugh and then proceeds with a story. That's the relationship that lasts a lifetime." Now, I get it. The idea of approaching someone in real life can feel really intimidating. So let's break it down. Here's how you can get dates in real life that lead to meaningful connection and hopefully love. First, start by joining social groups or clubs based on your interests. Maybe you like books, so join a book club. Maybe you're into hiking, find a local hiking group. Running clubs have certainly become very popular lately in a lot of different cities. This way, you're already starting with something in common. Another piece of advice I like is actually asking friends or coworkers for potential matches. In a nutshell, tap into your existing network and expand from there. The second step is when you're in these social situations, maybe don't approach every interaction as a potential date. This is probably the biggest reason you feel intimidated. So focus on just building genuine connections. This shift in mindset can make a world of difference. Focus on forming deeper connections with people. This might mean actually spending more time getting to know each other before moving forward into a romantic relationship. I'm not saying you have to be friends, but ultimately when you actually get to know someone, you can actually filter if this is someone that you could spend many more years of your life with. So it's worth just taking some time to really understand each other. And third, work on your conversation skills. Learn to ask open-ended questions and really listen to the answers. Show genuine interest in what others are saying. This kind of engagement is way more attractive than any pickup line. Lastly, let's address a common concern. What if you're not naturally good looking? Well, certainly Tinder's not the place for you. But here's the good news. Attractiveness isn't just about physical features. It's about how you carry yourself, how you treat other people, and the energy you bring to interactions. If you want to meet more interesting people, become a more interesting person. These qualities can make you incredibly attractive, regardless of your looks. And here's something that might surprise you, but confidence is more important than looks. I'm not talking about kind of the fake bravado here. I mean real, genuine self-assurance. Well, start by working on yourself. Pursue your passions, set goals, and achieve them. Have a direction in life and something meaningful that you're pursuing. It's sexy. And remember, building a relationship takes time and effort. It's not about instant gratification like on Tinder. It's about slowly building trust and understanding. And yes, breaking free from the Tinder trap might feel daunting at first, but remember, every meaningful relationship in history prior to the last 30 years happened without dating apps. You've got this. But if you're still unsure about deleting Tinder from your phone, you might want to check how addicted you are to the app and just your phone in general. So I encourage you to take our test on phone addiction, which you can access with the link in the description. And so you can check the resources that come with the quiz by filling out the application. We're on a mission to really build a meaningful life beyond the screen. And so you can use the resources that come with the quiz by filling out the quiz in the description. But just remember, there's so much more to life than the screen. So I'm excited to continue this journey with you. Thanks for being here.